but just such an iconic building, Athenian Greek restaurant was in there forever. And it just happened that the whole building was available. The property council were moving out after 30 years and they wanted someone to take the whole building. So we thought, honestly, as a little bit of a joke, we should put it in. And then they gave it to us. And that was the moment we decided to find some other co-founders.
Welcome to the Unicorns. I'm Justin Kelly. Today's conversation is about why places still matter. In a world of Zoom calls, Slack threads, and global capital that moves at the speed of a click, someone decided to spend more than $10 million restoring a 170-year-old heritage building in the middle of Sydney and turn it into a private members club. The place is The Pillars. It's not a co-working space, it's not a social club in the old sense, and it's not just a high-end hospitality venue, even though it does house one of the country's most celebrated new restaurants. The Pillars is an attempt to design an ecosystem, one where entrepreneurs, investors, and decision makers don't just meet but actually spend time together, working, eating, training, recovering, celebrating, making decisions when the cameras are off and the investor decks are closed. Today I'm joined by co-founder Steve Grace to unpack how and why this came together. We'll talk about the moment he realised Sydney was missing something, why 6 co-founders made sense when one would have been easier, why heritage mattered more than glass and steel, and why the top floor of the building is dedicated to wellness, not champagne views, although they do have that as well. We'll get into how you design real community rather than transactional networking, how exclusivity and inclusivity can coexist, and whether The Pillars is ultimately a members club that enables deal flow or an investment engine disguised as a clubhouse. We'll also talk about what surprised him since opening, what's been harder than expected, and what success looks like in the future. Finally, we'll step back from the building itself and ask the bigger question. What does The Pillars say about leadership, ambition, and business culture in Australia? And where are all of those things heading next? This is a conversation about architecture, capital, well-being, power, and proximity. Steve Grace, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So what was the moment where you thought Sydney needs this?
Straight in with the question.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it was one of those things I never thought would happen. I was, as you know, we have 6 co-founders, right? There were 2 at the beginning.
Okay.
So I was sitting with the other guy called Matt Brown. We know each other, ironically, through Cub, which we were both very early members. I think I was member number 8.
Big fan of Cub.
So we met there. I was literally member number 8, and we were just talking about, we just bought another business that had gone into receivership during COVID, which was one of the first ever venture firms, which we're about to relaunch next month, actually.
Interesting.
But we just bought that, and we were just having a beer and just talking the normal stuff, coming up with stupid ideas. And we said, I think he'd just come back from San Francisco, and he had been in a club in Hong Kong called the Whale Club. And he was telling me about it, right? And the Whale Club's about 80 square meters, it's a really high-end bar, cigars, all that kind of stuff, right? Beautiful artwork, la-di-da, 40,000 US a year, I think. So we're talking about that. And I said, we need that here. We need something here. Like, there's nothing here. The clubs here are terrible. Like, I've been invited to the Australian Club, the RACP Club. Now, they're not terrible for everyone, and they've got massive memberships, and they do really well, and I know all the guys that run them. But for me, they were terrible. That's just not what I wanted.
Yeah.
And Club wasn't what I wanted anymore either, because Club is networking. And I didn't want networking. I wanted hospitality. So, and I've been in all the ones in London, obviously. I grew up in London. I've been in the ones in Singapore and Hong Kong and all over the world. So we said, fuck it, we should do it. So we thought 80 square meter bar sounds like a plan. So we started looking just casually, spoke to all the real estate agents and just started looking at different spaces.
And was there anything around?
I looked at 80 places before we found the current place, and it took 18 months. So there was plenty.
And Sydney, you're looking in the
just Sydney?
CBD of Sydney.
Well, we were looking. We always saw it as a sort of tech and finance kind of, because that's Sydney, right?
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, all the tech guys are in Surrey Hills, all the city guys are in, all the finance guys are in the city. So we kind of looked around actually where the Soho House site that's being built right now was, and I looked at that very site. But we spoke to our audience and everyone said they wouldn't go there. The Surrey Hill guys don't want to be in Surrey Hills. They want to come to the city, and the city guys do not want to go to Surrey Hills. Yeah. So we said, right. So then we narrowed down to the city, and we were looking for something where it was just going to be a bar. And then sort of along the way, we were like, no, it needs to be a bit bigger. So then we wanted something that had an opportunity to have a restaurant on the ground level that we could have as public, because we felt that would stabilize the business in terms of revenue. There's not that many of them. But we came close on a few. But I think the building we've got is the best building in the entire city for a private members club. I genuinely do. And if we had been really just focused on building that business, we would have never found it. We would have gone a lot earlier with some of the other options. But because I have 2 other businesses, he has 2 other businesses, we never really thought we were going to do it, right? So you kind of just go, oh yeah, it's closed, but it's not quite no cigar kind of thing, right? So and then obviously we came across the current building, 2,000 square meters, a little bit bigger than anticipated. But just such an iconic building, Athenaeum Greek restaurant was in there forever. And it just happened that the whole building was available. The property council were moving out after 30 years and they wanted someone to take the whole building. So we thought, honestly, as a little bit of a joke, we should put it in. And then they gave it to us. And that was the moment we decided to find some other co-founders. But it was, I mean, it kind of wanted to do it, absolutely. But it's a huge building. We never thought we'd get it. Every hospitality group was wanting that building.
So it was up for grabs.
I saw it before because I'd met every real estate agent.
Yeah.
And I said, I want it. Don't go to market. And they said, no, we're going to market. Fine. So that was when we thought, it's over. We won't get it because we've got no experience at all, like zero.
Yes.
But when we went to sort of tell them, we put a proposal in, right, in Private Members Club. They wanted to find out what that meant. They wanted more details. And it had been a club before. It was a cricketers club once. It was a returning servicemen's club, and it was a farrier's club in its history, right? So they were like, okay, we want to know what that means. So I went and I walked around the whole building with the chairman and told him exactly what I wanted to do. And I get very excited very easily. And I persuaded him that what we were going to do was something that someone else wasn't. I think they'd also been burnt by the restaurant that had gone in there after, Seta, because they gave them a huge amount of money for their fit out and then they went broke, which worked in our favor because they left the whole kitchen and everything there to try and recover their costs, which we inherited. And I just don't think they wanted another bar. Justin wanted to buy it. They don't want to sell it. It was a stars aligned.
And so conceptually, when you were doing that initial walkthrough, did you have in mind exactly what you wanted, or did that evolve over time?
I had in mind exactly what I wanted.
Yeah,
100%. And to her credit, Emma Blomfield, who's one of the founders, who I've known for a long time, and the reason I chose Emma is she is a home designer, or was a home designer. Her career has taken off thanks to this. Yes. So I wanted it to feel like a home. I also wanted it to be appealing to women. I didn't want it to be a level 6 or a men's club. Mm-hmm. So I needed a woman designer. I didn't want to get a name designer because I just find they do whatever they want. They don't listen to you. Mm. And I've known her for a long time, who I also met at Cub. Emma was number 1 at Cub.
Stop it.
Yeah. Funny, huh? Yeah. So I explained to her exactly what I wanted. I actually rang her the day we got the building. She was at Coachella. Did not want to talk to me. And she said, I thought you were joking when I told her that we got the building. She goes, I didn't think you were actually going to do that. I said, I thought I was joking too. But I said, I need you to come back. She came back and I walked her through it and she designed it almost near on exactly how I had it in my brain, which is spooky. And then the builders translated the renders into exactly what the renders were, which is also spooky because those things don't normally happen. They usually look totally different. But it's extraordinary.
So you mentioned 6 co-founders. How does that team fit together and how do you make it work, Steve?
So I know Bradley from Tankstream. Mm-hmm. Nudge was doing a lot of work with Tankstream. Mm-hmm. And I was using his studio at that time to do my podcast actually for Nudge. So I rang him and he's a property guy, right? I thought we need a property guy because Matt doesn't know property. I don't know property. None of us know hospitality. This is not looking great. So I rang Brad. I'm like, who the hell's going to negotiate the lease? So I rang Brad and he had been having a similar conversation with one of his co-founders, Jono, who lives in Singapore. He was also an owner of Tankstream at the time. Yes. They were talking about doing one. So he said, this could be great. And we're like, I hope so, because we've got the building. And he's like, well, do you want to meet Jono? So we met Jono. And obviously Jono also was a shareholder at that time in Mandala Club in Singapore, so we had access to all the figures, and he had, so we looked at that and we could see the models, right? So it was coming together. So we thought, this is cool. So the four of us were like, we're in, and we're the major shareholders. Like if you look, we all have an equal shareholding between the four of us. Emma, once we sort of thought about it, it made sense to make her a co-founder to really make her accountable. I know that sounds harsh, but also she was doing me a really good favor, and she wasn't charging margins on a lot of things, furniture and all that kind of stuff. So that made sense. And we, again, like I said, we felt that we did not want to be four guys as co-founders. It's not a good look. Yep. Just having one girl, then it doesn't look great either. We should probably think about who else we know, right? Yes. And who else would fit. Now, Cheryl was known to all of us, ironically. I think maybe not Emma, through the startup. Mate. Yeah, through the startup ecosystem. Yes. So I actually was someone else suggested Cheryl to me. I was talking to someone else and they said, have you thought about Cheryl? I thought, Cheryl had just been on my podcast. I thought Cheryl would be good because she's also younger and we don't want it to be too old. She's got a great business mind. She's investing, all that kind of stuff. So I went to the Sunrise startup with down in Alexandria, wherever it was. And I just asked her.
Do you want to be a
at the table. I said, hey, I've got a question for you. Do you want to do this? And she was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not?
And that's how she came on.
So
So again, very, very strategic, but
how do you make the numbers work? I don't want to know the numbers, but when you when you eventually figure out what all of this is going to cost, take us on that journey. Because that can't be easy.
It's a horrible journey.
It's not a good journey. But somehow you've made it work.
Do you mean as in the financial viability of the club?
No, I'm just at the start going, if we do this, this is sort of what it's going to cost. This is what we need to outlay. This is what we need to charge to try to make a return.
Matt and I had run the numbers already before we found the place. We knew that you can make money in clubs.
Yeah.
There's two ways clubs go. Big joining fee, big and low costs, or just big cost all the way through. So for example, like the one in Hong Kong, that's $40,000 a year. There's one in New York that's $50,000 a year. There's quite a few that are expensive. Yes. Most are cheap.
Yes.
And then they charge you for everything.
Right.
I hate those co-working places that came up where they charge you for every photocopy, right? I hate being charged for everything. You want a glass of water, they're going to charge you. You want to sit on the chair, they're going to charge you. So we didn't want that model. Yes. And we wanted to have a clientele that would not like that model. So we knew it was going to be expensive. But the actual cost is not, and I can break it down for you later as to why it's not and why the value is so amazing. But
of course.
So we just looked at it and we said, okay, well, how many people do you reckon we could fit in there? How much is it going to cost? How many memberships do we need to sell before we do it? I mean, you're talking about 4 startup founders here, relatively high risk profile.
Yes.
We knew how much we were going to get from the landlords. Off we go. So the numbers were terrible. We had no idea how we were going to pay for it.
And so from the moment, Steve, you get the keys to the moment that the doors are open, you're ready for business, how long did that take?
Probably no. Actually, it went longer, didn't it? Maybe 11 months. And it felt like it was never going to happen at least 20 times.
Really?
There was so many times when Brad looked at me and went, "That's it, it's over." So many times for many different reasons. Yeah, so many times. Again, it didn't feel real. It felt like it was a bit of a game. I know that's really bad.
Yeah.
But it's so ridiculous. It's such a big building. No one's got any hospitality experience. There's just no reason it should work. So it didn't feel real because it's so ridiculous.
And so what is it, Steve, that you think the Pillars now provides Sydney?
I think the first and foremost reason people join is the community.
Okay.
I don't believe there's an offering for people at the demographic that we've gone after. And if you want me to explain that is really, tall poppy syndrome still exists, right? There's a lot of places to go to try and be successful, but once you've been successful, you're at home. That's it. You got nowhere else to go unless it's a hotel or a restaurant. Like there's no community.
You're
right?
at home.
There isn't. You're either at each other's houses or there's no place. So first and foremost, that was the first thing. It was a place where successful people go. And if a successful person goes to a co-working, they get mobbed because everyone wants to know the secrets. So we wanted to have somewhere safe, discreet, and we wanted to have a community of people who've all achieved amazing things, who probably still wanted to do more things, but wanted some buddies to do it with. And so the demographic right now we're at just over, maybe we're at 310 members now, which is way more than we thought we'd be at. We thought we'd be at 200. And average age is 39. 40% women, just under, which is amazing. It's entrepreneurs, exited entrepreneurs, family offices, ultra high net worths, investors, sprinkling of lawyers and bankers because they turn up everywhere. And we're now picking up quite a lot of retired sports stars who've done things and a splattering of celebrities.
So for those who have not been into the pillars, describe the space for us.
Oh my God, it's 2,000 square meters.
But you mentioned it's 4 floors. I should point out, like that restaurant, 11 Barrack, I think has been awarded Restaurant of the Year.
It has.
Two hats.
In the first 6 weeks, it got 2 hats.
It's unbelievable.
And it's still packed. I'm going tonight and I had to beg for a table. It's amazing how packed it still is.
Walk us through, as best you can, the different floors and how it all comes together.
So the ground floor is a public open restaurant. So members get access to it and they get discounts to it and they get discounts to all the other Bentley Group restaurants, but it is a restaurant run by the Bentley Group. That was done for a couple of reasons. One, running a restaurant, I think, is an absolute art, and I think only a few people know how to do it at that level.
Yes.
And 2, it stabilizes the business because having a tenant in there that's paying the portion of rent that they're paying, which we were able to charge quite high because of the fit out that was left by Seta, so all these sort of things fell in our favor, means that we only needed 100 members to be a profitable business. Yeah. So it's a very stable hospitality business, which is not normally 2 words that go together. So that's that
experience is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's obviously it's a steakhouse restaurant. Everyone would have been to Athenaeum. I think everyone in the world went to Athenaeum. So it's still got that. They've modernized that. They've done a beautiful job. I mean, it's like being in a sort of European grand, it's got the 5-6 meters ceilings. It's got the pillars.
It's a beautiful spot.
Piano playing in there, all that kind of stuff. It's stunning.
Yes.
So that's the restaurant.
Yes.
Now, there is something underneath the restaurant, which I'll talk about at the end. So that's public. If you go down the right-hand side of the building, there is a separate entrance to the club, and you go straight in there and up one of the grandest staircases you'll ever see, very Harry Potter, and you get to level 1. Level 1 is about working and events. And we do 10 to 15 events a week on average, so I can touch on that later. So you've got a working space, not a co-working space, not a place where you have permanent desks, it's more like a business center in a hotel.
Yes.
There are 3 meeting rooms there. There are some phone booths. It's all very bougie. It's in a part of the building that was added in 1950, so it's got this huge ceiling with glass on top. It's a stunning room. It's a nice place to work. You also have a reception desk, of course, and then to the left of that, you have a room called the parlor. So the parlor has multiple different usages. It's like a fancy cafe, I think. There's a bar in there as well. So in the day, breakfast meetings, coffees, lunches, light lunches, wines, a lot of meetings that members have with non-members. It's kind of a businessy kind of feel to it.
Yes.
And there's also a bar in there where we've got coffee. And then at 4 p.m. that turns into an aperitif bar till 7. And then also it can be used for events and you can have private tastings and things in there as well. And that leans out to the front of the building where there's a beautiful balcony. Next to the parlor, there is the library. That is a library. It's the oldest styled room, if you like, that gives, I guess, sort of champions the heritage of the building, and it's got parquetry floor, it's got lots of books, it's like a library.
An amazing space, I will say.
It's probably one of the most beautiful spaces, and it's designed for events. Like, it's set up as a library, you can go and sit in there and work, but we do a lot of events in there because you can shut the door, it's quite separate, it's a good size. It could be fireside chats, it could be birthdays, it could be anything. We do a lot of beautiful private dinners in there and put a nice table in the middle. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning. And that goes onto the balcony. And that's your level 1. So it's very much event and working.
Yes.
Continue up the staircase or the lift, if you so wish. You go to what I would consider the dining and the main bar. So you've got the main bar, which is the picture that everybody knows. It's the huge room. Again, still 4 meter high ceilings, a bar that costs more than I care to ever tell anyone to build.
Don't tell us.
It's the most crazy lights, but it's if you look at it, it's like a home. It feels like a club. It doesn't feel like a restaurant. It doesn't, and the furniture's every piece of furniture was made for us bespokely. So we didn't buy anything. Everything was designed and built. So that's the main bar.
Yep. And there's the balcony too.
There's the balcony on the second level, yeah. So that's great. And then you've got in between that and the back room, which is where our restaurant is, which is called the Atrium. The Atrium is a very popular for lunch, but also a massive event space. It sort of looks onto the workspace. I guess it's got a big screen that comes down. So you can eat in there. You can eat the Bentley food. You can eat some of our other chefs' food. We have our own menus. You know, Bentley are our business partner upstairs as much as they're our tenant downstairs.
Right. Yep.
So we share that. So that's a really popular dinner, lunch, but a lot of events in there as well. Beautiful booze, lots of plant life, which is all real. People don't think it's real. It's all real. But we do a lot of, like, I've interviewed Michael Checker in there. I've interviewed Mark Philippoussis in there. You can do really cool panels and things like that. And we can screen movies and things in there as well. So that's a cool space. And then in between that, there is the wine room, which is going through an upgrade this Christmas, even though it's only been open 7 months.
Tell me more.
So it's a thoroughfare between the two rooms. We have an oak table in there that is 180 kilos, which I helped carry up the stairs with another 12 guys. They sent 2 60-year-old guys to deliver that. They couldn't even get it out the van. Ridiculous. It took 12 of us 2 hours.
How did you get it up that stair?
Because you can't put it in the lift. It's too big. I'll show you a photo. It's a very good photo. You can you can do what you like with it. It was a big day. So you can do tastings in there. There's a lot of wine fridges in there. There's a humidor in there. We have a cigar license. So you can buy cigars.
People come in and smoke cigars?
Can't smoke cigars in that room, but they do on our rooftop, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So you have to have a license for cigars now,
right.
as
Really?
with everything, because we're in Sydney.
Yeah. Okay.
And all of these rooms, there's a variety of artwork, which is curated by, we have an art curator who curates our artwork. Some we buy, some we sell, some we borrow, but there's that. And we do tours around the club with the artwork as well. And some member artwork is also hanging on the wall. So that's level 2. So it's about eating and drinking, really.
Yeah.
And then the top level, which is the one that surprises everyone because you can't see it from the street, there is a secret outdoor bar at the back, which is probably 80, 90 square meters, which is one of the coolest places ever. No noise restrictions. No one can see you. It's super private. We do a lot of stuff up there. Free caviar, pizza nights, all sorts of different things, but it's massively popular now. There is another huge sort of probably 45 square meter balcony on the front as well, which is where you can smoke cigars because we don't serve food there. Okay. But you can also have drinks there. You can sit there. You can work there. And that looks out onto the front of the building as well. And no one knows that space is there. There is a private dining room / boardroom, which gets rented a lot. And then there's the wellness center, which is 2 ice bars, a purpose-built sauna. You can get facials from La Prairie in there. There's free products for everyone. There's change rooms. There's showers. There's sparkling water. There's lockers. There's, again, beautiful towels.
Love a good towel.
And that gets really well used. So that's the main building. And then the last part, which opens in about 4 weeks, is the bank vault. Because this was the first ever bank in Australia.
Tell me, I know nothing about this.
You wouldn't. No one's seen it.
Okay.
And it's only available to founding members. And a founding member is someone who gave us their fees before we opened, before we even started, and helped fund the build. So they're our true believers, if you want to call them that. And it is a bank vault. That's what it is. It's got the door on it, and it's where the gold was kept. It's also where the pennies were kept to avoid the Slavery Act, which we can probably not talk about since it's probably from the British heritage. And I'm British. But it will be the most... we're spending probably 10 times per square meter in there than we did in the rest of the club, and the club was not cheap. And there'll be storage in there for your own wine and whiskey. There'll be some whiskeys in there that you can't get anywhere else in the world. There's a lot of stuff going in there. It's sponsored by a whiskey brand, Glenfiddich, as well. So there's some incredible things going in there. And you can have dinners in there. You can play poker in there. You can do jewelry fittings in there. You can sit in there. There's also a secret entrance so you can get in and out without going through the club or the restaurant. So celebrities love that room. We've had some who've joined who will only ever use that room. They'll never come into the club. That opens in about 4 weeks.
Unbelievable. Are you going to have any photographs of this, or no? It's completely.
I'm sure it'll get out. But the intention is, you're not really allowed to take photographs in the club. Yeah. You're definitely not to take photographs of any other members. Yes. We are very protective of our members. There's no directory of members. You can't see who else is a member. Yes. So, but I'm sure everyone's got phones, right? It's going to have a picture, but.
So, how are your members using the space, and has it surprised you
completely
how they're using the space?
I had a view people would probably come in a couple of times a month. That was my, I don't know where I got that from, but that's what I had. People come in on average 3 times a week, which is wild, which has meant we've had to extend our menus a lot because people get bored with the food. Yeah. That's probably the biggest surprise. I think everyone joins for a different reason. So some people join because they like the workspace. Some people want the community. Some people want a bar they can always get a seat at. Some people like the outdoor bar. Some people want the wellness. But what does happen is it doesn't matter what they join for, they end up using it all. And I think even they are surprised. I've had people say they'll never use the ice plunge and then they tell me they're using it. I have people say they don't really ever want to work there. They're just going to use it for meetings and then they're in there on a Saturday night having a party. So I think everyone's using it for everything. But I would guess it's just as busy in the morning as it is in the afternoon.
Yes.
It's not that busy late. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock pretty much dies down. We have a 2 a.m. license. We usually only open until 12. We have DJs on certain nights. We have live bands on certain nights. We, as I said, 10 to 15 events a week. So there's a lot of things to do, but people use it for all of these things.
And do you find that the members are actively networking, or do they come in and they just say, I'm just doing my thing, I want to use the club the way I want to, might come in, send a few emails, have a cup of coffee, take off, or they're actively having meetings and connecting people?
You can bring 4 guests in as a founding member, 3 as a normal member. If it's quiet, you can ring up and bring as many as you wish. But it's the organic networking is extraordinary. And that was what we wanted. We don't have any networking things like a YPO or a cup, that we don't do them. Like that's not what we're there for. We've just created a space. But members get to know each other a lot. They run their own events, invite each other to their own events. I've seen members investing that would have never met together and building companies together. We'll do a variety of things. It could be a cooking class, could be a backgammon, could be a talk on AI, could be anything. People meet other members. It's quite incredible how many people join and then find they know people who are members and they didn't know they were members. So yeah, it's a real strong community. And we do a lot of things like for the tennis next year, we've got a huge box for 60 people. We're taking 60 members down to the tennis. 3 weeks ago,
What's that?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. 3 weeks ago, I took 20 members in 2 Black Hawk helicopters and threw them up the Parramatta River doing it was insane. So we sponsored the polo. We had a polo team at the polo in the park. So we had a big marquee. So we do stuff where they meet and that they meet, but it's all organic. It's not, here's 10 people, you're going to have the next 3 months talking to them about each other's businesses. We don't do that.
No.
And we don't want to.
And Steve, do you find that through the interaction of the various members that you've touched on it, the deals are being done?
It's amazing. And the bar probably is the most, you can go into the bar at 5 and there'll be people with 6 or 7 or 8 groups in there and you come back 2 hours later and those groups will have merged for no reason other than they're members and they have that in common. But they tend to meet if they like whiskey, they'll meet at a whiskey event or a wine event or a backgammon event or whatever it might be. But there's a lot of friendships that have been created. They're really quite tight. It's quite fascinating. I'm blown away, not just surprised, blown away by the quality of the membership, the speed at which it's grown, but also the communities that they're creating themselves within there. And they're so proud. You see members doing tours with their friends constantly, even now, 8 months in.
When you conceptualized the space, the whole level of wellness, the wellness floor, I'm interested to know, what was the rationale behind that, and are people utilising that space in a way that you like?
They are. We have classes. So we have a lady called Kate Kendall who is amazing, and she runs classes with her business.
Legend.
She's cool.
Yes.
Such a cool lady. And we do breath work and we do yoga and we do Pilates, and they're free. You pay if you don't show up, that's all, so that we don't have spots that aren't used.
That's a good idea.
Otherwise it's free. That gets utilised, absolutely. The cold plunges and sauna, everyone does cold plunges and sauna now. It's a cool thing to do. We had a whole session where we taught them how to do contrast therapy, and it was packed out with people.
How do you do it?
Do you want? I didn't go, but they've all told me.
You go in the sauna.
Well, it's the time in which one you like. It's only 2.5 minutes in cold. It's really 2.5 minutes in cold, 15 sauna. Oh no, so you start with the sauna. You got to finish on cold. Yeah. 15 sauna, 2.5 minutes cold. 15 sauna, 2.5 minutes cold is the ultimate for burning away. What is it? Brown fat or whatever you call it? Some fat.
I don't know.
Apparently. People use the showers a lot. People use the saunas a lot. People have the facials a lot. Everyone gets Free La Prairie products in there. There's hair dryers. There's everything you could ever dream in there. People come in and get spruced up before lunch, or before they go out, they can leave their bag there. People use it as a base. Some people come in and just use the wellness and don't use anything else because it's convenient to where they are. I mean, no one really knew how Australians were going to use the club because we don't have them, and we don't have a large population of people living in a city like you would in London or New York.
Yes.
So it's very quiet on the weekends unless we put things on, but people do use it on the weekends, but not anywhere near like they do in the week.
So you launched in April 2025.
1st of May was the official door opening. Yeah.
Are you happy with the way it's gone?
I'm more than happy. There's a lot of things we're changing. There's a lot of things we're upgrading. We constant feedback. We've got 120 people renewing on the 1st of May, so we've started to have those conversations now because that's quite a scary number. And we got 6 months left, and we're taking all the things they want and putting them in so that they renew. We're very much listening to what people want, and the things are consistent. There's the odd thing that someone randomly has, but they're all consistent. So we've got a very healthy feedback loop. And because it's a club and because the staff know their name and they know the staff's name, you've got this white glove level of service where you've actually got familiarity, right? So normally you'd have a pub where everyone knows your name, but the service is, a pub service, or you have a restaurant where no one knows your name, but you have great service. We've got this thing in the middle, which is a special thing.
I like it.
And because of that, we have a constant feedback loop because they're always talking and making suggestions and asking, and our staff are all trained to ask them about stuff as well. So there's literally every week, it's like, what suggestions have we had? We don't have a suggestion box. It's just a continuous thing. I don't want a suggestion box.
So how do you become a member? What's that process?
You apply.
Like? You apply.
So we don't do any marketing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our members come from two ways. They come because members bring their friends in and they want to be members, or they come to an event. So when you run events as a member, so you can run an event, you can run as many events as you want. You can run 4 big events a year or as unlimited, and you pay no room charges. So you only pay for your alcohol and your food. So it's minimum spend. Yeah. So that people have a lot of events for their work. So you have a lot of people coming in who aren't members. So we get a lot of members through that. We do a lot of high-end events you may have seen. So like we had $35 million worth of Chopard jewelry in there. Net-a-Porter had a fashion show in there. I sat next to a member of the Bollinger family on a Bollinger night, which was pretty wild. So when those high-end brands do events with us, and we don't do that with many, they will bring maybe 20 of their VIPs and we'll have our members there. We'll get members that way. So it's really those kind of events, people are finding out about it, or it's people bringing them in, or they have a work meeting or something like that. And then you can apply from the website. To be honest, we don't accept everybody. Okay. I've already ejected quite a number of members for breaking rules as well, which I can't go into why, but nearly 5 have already been ejected.
Understood.
For the right reasons, and they can't reapply for 5 years.
Wow.
But you can also apply just straight through the website. And then we interview you. We meet you, we take you on tour, we we have a committee, kind of things.
Are there any plans, Steve, to open other venues like this in, say, a Melbourne or a Perth?
We have a whole roadmap.
Brisbane? Yes.
So we have 80 reciprocal clubs around the world,
yes,
which took a long time to do, and that's growing every day. And again, members say, "I want to go here. Can you get a reciprocal club?"
And what are some of that? What are some of those clubs?
I mean, if you think of like London, I believe we've got the Lansdowne Club. I think we've got the Ivy. I think we've got the Arts coming in. I think we've got the 8 clubs in New York. We've got Core Club. We've got obviously all the ones in Hong Kong and the Mandala and the 1880s in Singapore. And there's countless. There's one in Iceland as well, which was just, it just happened. It wasn't something we sought out. But but for us here, we are definitely looking at sites in both Melbourne and Brisbane. Mm-hmm. Brisbane is probably more likely to be first. I think Melbourne needs some healing still before it's ready. But so we've got conversations happening on that. We have also acquired some other properties in very high-end situations where members might go. So, for example, there is a private racetrack being built here in New South Wales. It's a $50,000 a year membership fee to be able to drive your car on that membership, on that racetrack. We've already bought a villa on that, so our members will be able to go and do that for free.
Unreal.
So we're doing things, and we're looking at something in Broadbeach and Gold Coast. We've got quite a lot of those little things. It's all about stuff that you can't buy or that you wouldn't buy. That's kind of the idea.
It's interesting. You said at the start of the program that there was nothing like this in Australia.
There's not.
And so, what do you think the Pillars brings to the nation, or certainly to Sydney?
I honestly think yes, it's all these fancy experiences, and that's amazing. But it's the community. It's a like-minded community, and it's a place for them to go. Whether it be here, Brisbane, around a racetrack, whether it's bringing them together and enabling them to share their passions with other people and find other people. So if you're a big whiskey guy, you're going to meet all the other whiskey people. If you're a champagne lover, then you're going to meet all the champagne people,
yes,
and so forth. Yeah. So we're just an enabler. That's how I would describe it. But the community is probably, it feels special. I don't just say that. Yeah. I genuinely, and it has surprised me way more than I ever imagined.
So we're almost out of time. If we were to summarise and speak on behalf of your co-founders, what is your vision?
They're used to that because I talk a lot.
What is your vision for the future of the Pillars?
One of the things we have been approached about, and this is probably the most surprising thing because we've been open 7 months. We've got 64 people who've approached us about wanting to become lifetime members, which is wild. We've not even had a year. And they're wanting to lay down
Sign me up.
Yeah, line down a lot of money. And I think what we will create is a continuous, ongoing community of people who are like-minded and want to achieve great things. I would love the next billion-dollar startup to come out of here. I would love for our investors to help make that happen, for the entrepreneurs to maybe on their second or third business create something like that. I mean, I think it's a home first and foremost for them. That's what it is. It's the third space, as everybody likes to say. But I would love for some amazing Australian innovation to come out of it.
Steve Grace, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank you.